What's up, guys? So since the beginning of 2014, I've been wanting to make a video of my most anticipated games for 2014. There's so many games this year that I'm anticipating that I wouldn't be able to talk too much about each game, or else the video was going to be really long. So I decided to just do a series of like 2014 spotlights. So each video I would make is a game that I'm anticipating, so that I could talk a little bit more about the game and why I'm excited about it, or why I'm keeping my eye on it. So yeah, let's get this started. Murdered Soul Suspect. I actually saw the behind closed doors demo of this game in E3 2013, and I haven't talked about it. It's not like I'm super excited about it, but I am keeping my eye on it. The developer is Airtight Games and the publisher is Square Enix. It's pretty much a supernatural detective thriller type of game. When you see the demo, I believe they already have the demo live. They already put it up like late last year, so you could see it. You could see it on YouTube. I was gonna put something up here so you guys could see the trailer and like see clips and stuff like that, but I decided not to. Stupid copyright issues. So instead I'll just provide the links in the description so you guys could go check out the demo, the trailer, all that good stuff. What it is you play a detective called Ronan O'Connor, and you have to solve your own murder. When I was watching the demo at E3, the game seems very familiar, and in some cases that's a good thing, in others it's not too good because you're like, oh, this game is copying so-and-so game. But it didn't feel like it was copying it, or it didn't feel like it was a replica of another game. It felt familiar. It has some gameplay similarities to LA Noire, like when it comes to the detective work, because you do look for evidence and you do analyze evidence very much like you would in LA Noire. Like you have your the detective book and you look through your notes, that kind of thing. But it's not your notes. That's the difference, is that you're a ghost. You have some advantages and you have some disadvantages. Your advantages are that you are in this supernatural world. You're not in a physical world anymore. So you could interact with things that you weren't able to in the real world or when you were living. And you could do things like possess people, to see their thoughts, in this case to see their notes, the detective on your case, on your murder case. What they wrote down, what they got from witnesses. Back then, when I watched the demo, obviously I hadn't played Beyond Two Souls yet because it wasn't out. But now that I have played Beyond Two Souls, there is, I guess, the feeling of it is very similar to Beyond Two Souls, but I don't think it's very, like, some people are comparing it a lot to Beyond Two Souls, but I think it's very different because it is a detective game, and Beyond Two Souls wasn't. Beyond Two Souls was completely different. I think this game has more appeal to me personally than Beyond Two Souls did, because it's a detective story, it's a mystery. I love mysteries. I love detective stories. I love supernatural twists. I just love the mystery of solving something, like puzzles and stuff like that. And even though I'm not a big fan of LA Noire, I think LA Noire did a really good job about analyzing evidence and all that. I thought it was really cool, like the way that you could look through your book and find different notes and like compare them to things, and the way that you would interact with the people and like interrogate them. I thought that was really cool. So if they're implementing a similar system to this game, I think it's going to be pretty awesome, especially adding that supernatural feel to it. The game takes place in Salem, Massachusetts. Now, if you don't know anything about Salem, there is a lot of mystery behind Salem, Massachusetts. There's the whole Salem witch trials. Now, you could say that you don't believe the stories and the hauntings of Salem, Massachusetts, because Salem, Massachusetts is notorious, especially in literature, ghost stories and all that, witches. Salem, Massachusetts is usually the setting of choice. So not only does this game have the supernatural story revolving around your death and you being a ghost, but it also has the whole thing about Salem being this location of ghosts, like this location of past history, that the supernatural past history. So there is more to the game than just your death or your killing. That's another thing that really intrigued me, was that it's not just about you. It's also about the environment. It's also about everything else. It's also about the history of Salem, Massachusetts. When I was watching the demo, I found it really interesting that you come in contact with a lot of other ghosts as well, that are just like wandering the streets, and you could get like some missions with other ghosts where they're either trying to find something, or they're trying to like find an answer, a solution to something that they probably left behind in their previous life. It's like you're still being a detective, even though you've been killed. You're now a detective of the supernatural world. When you get killed, you kind of like lose memories. You don't know what's going on. You're just like, what? Why? So a big point to the gameplay is possessing people, finding out clues, tapping into the real world to find solutions to what happened to you and why and who killed you. Because in the trailer, it's a really cool trailer. I like the trailer because it shows your murder, and you don't know who this guy is. It's this very mysterious guy, hooded guy, where you're just like, why did this guy just come up and kill me like cold blood? The storyline doesn't have multiple arcs. It's a very linear story. It's a story that they're trying to tell. Like I was saying earlier, that the world isn't physical, so you have these supernatural powers where you could pretty much go through walls. You could see things that humans don't see. You could sense things. You could even mess with people, like what's called hauntings. Like you could go into a room where people are just sitting there, and you could just haunt the room. Like you could make lights flicker or whatever. You could toss things to the ground or whatever. I think the purpose of that is not just to mess with people, but also to maybe get them to move or to leave the room if you have to do something or something like that. And as much as you might think like, okay, this is just a detective story, like, is it just like a puzzle game where you just solve mysteries? There's actually an action-based system, not like a shooter. This is a third-person game, but it's not a shooter. I believe you learn to grab objects later on. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can't remember if they covered that or not. The enemies are, or at least some of the enemies, I don't know if there's others, but some of the enemies are demons. Like those are the main enemies, and they're pretty damn scary. Like I remember, like, dude, this game, I mean, it's not a horror, but it is a thriller. So I was getting that like a similar feel to like Alan Wake, where you still like you're just like, oh my god, like your heart still starts racing, or you feel like, dude, this is crazy, or this is scary. But you do fight demons, and the way that you fight them, I thought was pretty cool, is that you have to like possess them and then destroy them from the inside. So you could like teleport into them or something like that, and then you kill them. Or if they're in one location, because the point to this game is stealth. This game is very big on stealth, more so than on like a shooter, like an action-based game. So if you see a demon off in the, like at the end of the hallway or something, and you see a human that's close to the demon, now the humans can't see the demons. If you see a human that's like walking around close to the demon, you could possess that human and then jump into the demon that's nearby to kill it. From such a long distance, you can't just jump into the demon from so far away, so you need something in between. So you could do that. It could be like a pretty tactical way to get to demons is by jumping through humans. Some people are comparing it to a different another game that I can't remember the name of, but it's this game right here. Another thing that you could do is you could actually influence witnesses. You could influence witnesses through suspects. Like when it comes to the suspects that you see the detective has written down, there is solving little cases, and all these little cases lead to the big mission, which I believe is solving your murder. Some areas glow in what's called the dusk world, which is the world that you're in, the supernatural world, and this is limbo. You can't go into every building because of the Salem totems, so it's kind of like you know, the whole the goat's blood on the door, so that the evil plague wouldn't get into specific houses that had that blood. It's kind of like that. So it's like protection from the supernatural, protection from from the unknown, protection from evil things. So you can't go into buildings that have that totem. Now, the totems can be broken by the living. So if you could find a way, if there's a building that you really need to get into, you could find a way for somebody, for a living person to break that totem and then you get in. The demo also showed a little girl, like this little girl that has been leaving writings, like these weird writings all over the city for years. There's also that mystery where you're just like, what is going on here? And that taps into the whole supernatural history and the whole like haunting type of feeling of Salem. So they're really taking advantage of that setting. It wasn't like they chose Salem, Massachusetts just because we're like, oh yeah, this sounds like a good place. The demons, the reason why they attack you is because they consume souls. So they're out to eat you pretty much. And the combat, the guy that was talking about the demo was saying that the combat is pretty difficult. That's why it's more about stealth. So you want to try to find a way to possess demons without them seeing you, because if they do attack you, you probably will end up getting killed very fast. There were these memory residues that you would spot every now and then, and if you would come and interact with them, you would get like a memory. So you would see this thing play out and you would know a little bit more of what happened. Back in 2013, the platforms that this game was going to be released on were the PC, the PS3, and the Xbox 360. But recently, the developer announced and the publisher announced that it's going to be released on the PS4 and the Xbox One as well. Whenever I end up getting a PS4, I think I'm going to get Murdered Soul Suspects for it. Because I think it's gonna look amazing for it, and I mean it's why not get it? I mean, you know, if I do have a PS4 by then, it's just gonna be another game to have for the PS4, you know? The estimated release date for it is June 2014. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Murdered Soul Suspect. Remember, I've got the links in the description to the demo and the trailer, so go watch those after this if you haven't already. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. So since the start of 2014, I wanted to. So since the year for 2014, the most anticipated.